I had every intention of waiting until tomorrow to do the oil change, but I've got the oil, it's still light outside, and I just want to do it today. So I ended up buying the plug as well. They said you don't need it until like the third or fourth oil change, so I just wanted to have it. I'm not going to use this one today, but everything paid for. So we've got the oil was $9 per quart, the filter was $16.80, and then the new drain plug was $10.12. So I got 1 extra quart of oil. I didn't need that. So like I said earlier, this is about $85, maybe $87 to do this today. Not too bad. The engine's still super hot from my drive home. I don't want to scald my hands, so I'm just going to start getting everything ready. Go get my drain pan, get paper towels. Maybe I'll throw some gloves on and just hope for the best. Hope I don't destroy myself. So, full synthetic, 5W30, Motorcraft. I don't want them to tell me I didn't do something within the warranty, so I just use their oil. And then the filter that they give you, not give you, the filter that you buy to do this, it's just a little canister, or not canister, just the interior part. Also gives you the rings to put on the top part of the little plastic canister part that goes on top. So I have regular drain pans, but the fact that this is up so high, I'm going to use a full-on bucket. I'm going to clean this out with some paper towels first because I'm going to take a sample out of this to send to, I think it's Blackstone, whatever it is. I'm going to send it off for analysis. So instead of using my little drain pan, I use a bucket. Never done that before, but figure makes sense. It comes out quick. A lot of times with the drain pan, it hits and then splashes everywhere. This should be able to contain everything a little bit better. And for all the safety fiends out there, I have it chalked. I did have to put it in 4-low and lock both the front and rear differentials because these things slid out a whole bunch of times. I guess I didn't have to lock the rear, but it was locked when I put it in 4-low. But in order to get on these things, I had to actually put the front locker, or engage the front locker. Kind of crazy, but it was super easy to do. You didn't have to roll it all. I know in my old Tacomas, you had to like turn the wheels a little bit, roll a little bit. This one just locked it right up. It was pretty great. Got my paper towels, got my gloves, got my 15mm to get the skid plate off. Clean this bucket out a little bit. I don't want them to tell me I have sawdust in my oil when I send it out to get it analyzed. I might actually go get a mason jar and just catch some as it's coming out. That way I know nothing else gets stuck in there. And for anybody who's wondering, my driveway is a little bit slanted, so I backed it in, put it up, measured the truck. It's actually 1 degree nose down, so that's not ideal, but the drain plug is in the front here. So actually, no, it's just on the side. A little bit of oil might stay in there. I mean, technically I could air down the back tires, but I'm not that ridiculous. Well, I am, but I'm not going to do it this time. I have a feeling this is going to come out with a fury and it's going to be hot. Get the lid off my mason jar here. Have it ready to catch. I do not have the top where you add the oil open right now, just because I don't want it to come gushing out. Once it's starting, there we go, and it went everywhere. Awesome. Catch a little bit. think a full mason jar is probably enough. This is why I brought paper towels out here. Now my glove's right in the way, and it's covered in oil. Guess that's why I wear gloves. I am JV mode right now. Lots of rookie mistakes. I'll be bringing the kitty litter out here in a minute. I am glad I used a bucket instead of my regular drain pan. So I'm going to open up the fill cap now. Fill cap is open. I'm also going to crack the oil filter. So drain plug, I mean, pretty basic, comes with an O-ring. I asked them if I'm supposed to replace the O-ring. They said just replace the entire cap every 2 or 3 oil changes. So I'll change it at 10,000 and then again at 20,000. So every other oil change. But for now, I'm gonna put this lid back on here. All right, so there's my jar of oil. There's my drain plug. Got to get some rags and clean off this cross brace here because I made a mess. They put this drain really close to this. I mean, I guess if I had known what to expect, I might have been able to avoid some of this mess, but it's definitely dripping like very, very close to this wiring harness as it comes across. A little bit on top of this brace here and on my hand because I'm dumb. Got all over the side of the bucket. Super fun. My wife's going to be thrilled when she comes out and sees the driveway. All right, let's get the camera up top and get the oil filter cracked open. Nailed it. So, for everybody who's wondering, engine oil filter uses a 1 1/15 or 1 1/16. See if I can get a better angle here so you can see what I'm doing. All right, I think that's the best I'm going to get for you. Better than nothing. So it's not too tight, which is a good thing because it's just plastic threads. There are 2 O-rings on here, so it stays tight. It's not like one of those things where one turn and it's finger loose. Get this cap off of here. All right. So cap is off, and the new one comes with all 3 of these O-rings. So we'll take those and replace them in just a minute. Okay, so the oil filter is tucked in there. This one has a little rubber thing on it, but the one that's replacing it does not. So I'm thinking I got to move those rubber boots over to the new filter. So not really sure. I'm going to see if they pop off. I'll put them on the new one, because the new one is just without those little things. So let me see. If these things pop off. They do not. Okay, well, this is what it came with. I watched another video. This is what other people were using. I mean, it's going to be fine. It'll be fine. It's actually, the oil filter itself is bigger diameter. It's the same diameter as the rubber things. It's really hot. There's a piece of metal in there. So it's the same size as those outside, bigger diameter. I don't know how to show you. You should be able to tell just because that's inside here and this is the same size. So that's all there is to it. I'm going to go grab a pick to pull these off and put the new ones on. Oh, well, it just broke. Pink one's kind of cheap. Yeah, these O-rings, I'm going to show you, they're falling apart, or at least the outer section of them's falling apart. Unimpressed. Hopefully these other ones are blue. I mean, color doesn't mean much to me, but hopefully, like you can see, just this pink stuff's all coming off. It's all inside there. So I'm going to clean this up really well. But I really hope the new ones are not like that. These feel good, but the fact that the top one just broke when I took it off is a little bit surprising. So, I mean, it snapped pretty easily without a ton of pressure. I would have thought it would have stretched enough to get off, but it didn't. So, there you go. There's still oil draining. I can hear it. I heard a little bit of a gush when I took the oil filter out. Oh, I didn't clean that top part. The magic of editing is going to make this look so much easier because I'm starting to get frustrated with this. Last thing I want to do is break this one after that other one's already broken. That would suck. Man, what am I doing wrong here? All right, I figured out the trick for all of you. Don't try to push it down. Get an end on it and then just flip it over. So I wasted 5 minutes. I saved you 5 minutes. So watch one of my videos for 5 minutes and then we'll be even. Got the rings all on. Everything is good. Get more of this pink crap out of here. Push it down in there. Get it seated. There you go. It definitely went around something in there, so it's in place the way it should be. Let me see if oh, wrong way, sorry. So that's looking straight down on it. I think it's pretty good in there. So now, put the cap on it. So I've got it cleaned up. There's still a little bit of pink crap on there, but it's the best I can do for now. So we'll put this down on the inside there. And it is starting to thread. So I am going to put the camera, where can I put the camera so you can see what I'm doing? All right, here we go. Best angle we're gonna get. And we'll tighten down the oil filter. I wanna make sure I'm not cross-threading this thing. There we go, it's going a lot easier. So now we will slowly seat it back down in there. First O-ring is in. Second O-ring. So now, just nice, slow, even pressure. And it stops, so I'm not gonna go any more than that. Like, it's a very distinct, it gets to a point. It's not like tight, tighter, tighter, tighter. It's going and then it just hits a stop. I could definitely force it past, but that seems like a stupid idea. I'm gonna get back underneath, put the drain plug back in, and we'll be ready to start filling oil back up. And then I will show you guys the priming procedure, because you don't just start the engine, you can get it primed by holding your foot all the way down on the gas, foot on the brake, and then you start it and it'll turn over for 10 seconds without any ignition, so you can prime everything. I mean, it doesn't look like it would be difficult to do, but I'm having an interesting time here. Why? Oh, there we go. That is so weird. It just kind of loose in there, but there's little stops. So let me bring the camera in and show you, there are little, wow, this is awkward. Got this sweet DJI gimbal thing, but it makes it very difficult. So you can see that there's black plastic that the tab goes up against, so you cannot over tighten it. It stops when it gets to those black tabs on both sides. And then I'm not going to pull it back out, but anyway, it's very obvious how far it should be plugged in there or screwed in, whatever. I mean, I've definitely made bigger messes, but it's a bummer that this is my driveway and not my garage. So once I'm done here, I'm gonna go get some kitty litter and stomp on it, smash it into this, dry up as much as I can. And I can always get the pressure washer out if I need to. So we'll take a look at the oil. I mean, it's not terrible. You can't really see through it, which is not too, I mean, it is what it is, but it's dirtier than I thought it would be after 1,000 miles, but it's no big deal. Hello, Crazy Goober. Now you are in the air intake, in case you were wondering where you're viewing this from. Let's see, we'll go over here because all right, well, oil's going in right there so you can see it just fine. That's as far down as the camera goes unless I put something under it. Don't really have anything good for that. So we're just going to start doing this. I've got my super awesome Harbor Freight funnel. Boom. So this thing takes 7 quarts. I bought 8 because it's never a bad idea to have a little bit extra. So here we go. Okay, got the fill plug back in. I'm going to go inside and we're going to do the starting procedure where you hold your foot on the brake and the gas and you press the starter, and my keys are actually in the house. So we get the keys, you can sit in the bed. Okay, we're back. Now the reason that you do this purge, or whatever we're going to call it, is because we drained all the oil out of the turbos. There's no oil in the filter, and it creates some pressure somewhere. I read it, I don't know. It's just a good idea. Somebody will tell me in the comments. So I have my foot on the brake, my foot's all the way down on the gas. It's turning over, turning over, turning over. Gonna give it about 3 or 4 more. So there we go. It stops after a certain amount of time. Now my foot's off of the gas. Starts right up. So I need to remember, every time I start the car, my phone hooks up and kills my video. So after it cut off, I said, I've changed my own oil in a lot of turbo cars in the past. I've never done this procedure. I had the Explorer ST, I had the Focus ST, and the Focus RS. I changed the oil in all of them. I never did this. I never had any problems, but I also didn't keep those cars more than 3 years. So I want to keep this thing for a long time. And if that helps at all, I'm going to do it. I've also heard if you've been gone for weeks and you're starting it up, or if you're starting it up when it's super cold, you can do that same thing. And then I'll show you really quick. One of the things that I saw is you have your foot on the brake. Sorry. Left foot's on the, what the, and all right. Left foot on the brake, right foot all the way down on the gas. It's turning over. And then when you take your foot off the gas, it'll start. So you can do that too if you don't want it to go for quite as long, but just another option. Oil change is not complete until you've checked the new oil. So we let the car run for maybe a minute. Got everything primed. So I'm going to pull the dipstick. We're right in the middle there. Not sure if you can see. Seems, I mean, it's in there. Seems on the low side. I don't want to overfill it. Maybe I'll give it another minute for everything to drain down after it was running. Yeah, it's at the halfway mark. I'm not sure if you can see it. I'm trying to move it a little bit. So that's good. I'll check it again tomorrow. That's why I bought the 1/8 quart, just in case I need to add a little bit more. This thing is, there we go. It's in there. So the oil change is complete. I'm going to throw the skid plate back on and then get the truck down off these ramps and clean up my mess. But first things first, skid plate. So it's getting a little bit darker. Not sure if you'll be able to see this, but you saw me take it off, so you know what happens here. Oh yeah, I said I was going to check to see. No oil, no new drops down here. Everything is good. So this goes above the skid plate, or the bash plate in the front. There we go. Ah, man. There we go. I am sorry for the loud noises. I will fix that in editing. So you'll need a 15mm to get the skid plate off, and you'll need a 1 1/16 inch for the engine oil filter. And then everything else you just do by hand. So that's all there is to it. I'm gonna clean this up, get the truck down off the jacks there. Here, I'll even do a time lapse for you so you can watch the debacle that is Flabberdoopin changing his oil and getting everything cleaned up. I didn't spill any. Well, I didn't spill any this time. I already spilled plenty earlier. Oh, awesome. This thing's broken. Check that out. Don't buy, oh, now I just made it worse. Don't buy this, the Blitz. It breaks. I thought that was going to be awesome.
It's over!